Welcome to ancient Earth, where every fossil tells a story, and every bone holds a whisper from the deep past. The air is dry, and a persistent wind whips sand across a vast, rust-colored landscape of dunes and rocky outcrops. This is the Gobi Desert, 75 million years ago. Forget the humid, dripping jungles of popular imagination. This is a world of stark beauty and harsh survival. In the shadow of a low, scrubby bush, something moves. It is a flash of motion, a blur of feathers and focused intent. It is low to the ground, no taller than your knee, and as it emerges into the harsh Cretaceous sunlight, you see a creature both familiar and utterly alien. It has the body of a predator, but the coat of a bird. Ever wonder what it would be like to face a real raptor? Not the 6-foot movie monster, but the genuine article. A creature of refined, deadly elegance. The truth is often more compelling than fiction. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you find the journey we're about to take is a valuable one. Let us know in the comments where you are watching from, and tell us which prehistoric creature fascinates you the most. Now, let's journey back in time and uncover the story of a lost world. The creature before you is Velociraptor mongoliensis, the swift Caesar from Mongolia. Its name, bestowed upon it after its discovery in these very deserts in the 1922nd, is a perfect summary of its nature. It was built for speed, a highly specialized hunter in a world where the race for life was run every single day. But as it turns its head, fixing you with a gaze from a startlingly large eye, the image burned into our collective consciousness by Hollywood begins to shatter. This is no scaly man-sized beast. This is something smaller, smarter, and infinitely more interesting. It is the real Velociraptor, and its story is a detective novel written in stone, one that fundamentally changed how we see the age of dinosaurs. Let's address the elephant, or rather, the turkey. In the room, the real Velociraptor was small. In fact, it was shockingly small compared to its cinematic stand-in. Standing before you, the top of its head would barely reach your hip. It measures about 6 feet long, but most of that length is a stiff, balancing tail. Its body is closer in size to that of a medium-sized dog, like a coyote, and it would have weighed no more than 30 or 40 pounds, soaking wet and covered in sand. The 6-foot-tall, hyper-intelligent monsters from the movies were actually based on a much larger North American cousin named Deinonychus. But the name Velociraptor just sounded cooler, and so a movie star was born from a case of mistaken identity. Looking at the genuine article, however, reveals a design for living that is far more compelling than sheer size. Its skeleton is a marvel of lightweight engineering. The bones are hollow and thin-walled, like those of a modern bird, reducing weight to maximize speed and agility. This creature was not a brawler. It was an acrobat. Its skull is a masterpiece of predatory design, long and low, with a distinctively upturned snout. It's a delicate-looking thing, but inside its jaws are rows of about 28 small, serrated teeth on each side, curved backward to grip struggling prey. These were not teeth for crushing bone, but for tearing into flesh. Its eye sockets, or orbits, are enormous in proportion to its skull, suggesting it had excellent vision, a critical tool for spotting small, fast-moving prey from a distance in the open, sun-drenched landscape it called home. Every part of its anatomy speaks not of brute force, but of precision. speed, and a high-octane metabolism. It was a finely tuned instrument of predation, and its small size was not a weakness, but a key to its success in a harsh and unforgiving world. As your eyes adjust to its true scale, you notice the next detail that rewrites the script of this animal's life. Its skin isn't scaly, green, or leathery. It's covered in feathers. This isn't speculation or artistic license. It is a certainty backed by remarkable fossil evidence. For a long time, scientists suspected that dromaeosaurs, the family of dinosaurs Velociraptor belongs to, were feathered. The evidence came from their close relatives found in China, which were preserved in fine-grained ash that beautifully fossilized the impressions of their plumage. But the smoking gun for Velociraptor itself came in 2007. A scientist examining a well-preserved forearm bone, the ulna, noticed a series of small, evenly spaced bumps along its edge. These were quill knobs. In modern birds, these knobs are the attachment points for the ligaments that anchor large, strong flight feathers to the bone. Finding them on the arm of a velociraptor was the paleontological equivalent of finding a saddle on a horse, incontrovertible proof of complex bird-like feathers. Now, this doesn't mean Velociraptor could fly. Its arms were far too short relative to its body size to generate lift. So why have them? The feathers likely served multiple purposes. A downy undercoat would have provided excellent insulation, helping the warm-blooded animal regulate its body temperature in a desert climate known for hot days and cold nights. The larger, more complex feathers on its arms and tail, forming primitive wings and a stabilizing fan, could have been used for display to attract mates or intimidate rivals. They may also have been used to shield its young in a nest, or even as a startling flash of color to flush out prey. And perhaps most importantly, they could have provided crucial balance and control as it ran, leaped, and wrestled its prey to the ground. The creature before you isn't just a dinosaur. It's a bridge, a living, breathing link in the evolutionary chain that connects the age of reptiles to the birds in our own backyards. To truly understand this feathered hunter, you must understand its home. You are standing in the world of the Djadochta Formation, a slice of time preserved in the iconic red sandstones of the Gobi Desert. Forget the lush, tropical jungles. This place is a world of extremes. The landscape is a vast erg, a sea of sand dunes sculpted by a relentless wind. These dunes are interspersed with rocky canyons and oases, where scrubby, drought-resistant vegetation clings to life around seasonal streams and ephemeral lakes. This was not an easy place to live. It was likely a semi-arid environment, with long dry seasons punctuated by brief but intense rains that could trigger flash floods. The temperature swings would have been dramatic, from scorching hot days under an unfiltered sun to frigid nights. This challenging environment is precisely what shaped Velociraptor into the animal it was. Its small, lightweight body was an asset here, requiring less food and water to sustain than a multi-ton giant. Its keen vision was perfect for spotting prey across the open expanses, and its speed and agility were essential for navigating the complex terrain of dunes and canyons. And its coat of feathers, once thought to be purely for display, was likely a critical tool for survival, providing insulation against both the daytime heat and the nighttime cold. A key advantage for a warm-blooded, active hunter. It shared this world with a unique community of creatures. You might see small, burrowing mammals scurrying for cover, lizards darting between rocks, and herds of the tough, sheep-sized herbivore Protoceratops famous for its bony neck frill and parrot-like beak. This was Velociraptor's primary prey, a tough and formidable opponent. The drama of this ecosystem was not about giants battling in swamps. It was about survival in the sand, a high-stakes game of cat and mouse played out in one of Earth's ancient deserts. Now, let's focus on the feature that, even more than its name, has made this dinosaur a legend: the killing claw. On the second toe of each foot, Velociraptor sports a single, enormous, sickle-shaped claw. While the other toes are used for walking, this one is held retracted, lifted off the ground like a switchblade, ensuring the point and inner edge remain razor-sharp. For decades, the purpose of this claw seemed brutally simple. It was for slashing, for running alongside a victim and disemboweling it with a powerful kick, as famously and graphically depicted in cinema. It's a terrifying image, but one that modern biomechanics has largely dismantled. Studies of the claw's shape and strength, along with the musculature of the leg, suggest it wasn't well suited for slashing. It was strong, but probably not strong enough to rip through the tough hide of a Protoceratops with a single, running strike. The force would have risked breaking the claw or the toe. Instead, a more intricate and, in some ways, more terrifying hunting strategy has emerged, known as Raptor Prey Restraint, or RPR. This model, based on the behavior of modern birds of prey, paints a different picture. You watch as the Velociraptor ambushes its prey, perhaps a small lizard or a juvenile dinosaur. It doesn't slash. It pounces. It leaps onto the back of its victim, using its body weight to pin the animal to the ground. The infamous sickle claw then comes into play, not as a slasher, but as a grappling hook. It would puncture the skin and anchor the predator to its struggling meal, preventing escape. At the same time, its feathered arms might flap and beat against the victim, not for flight, but for balance, allowing the raptor to maintain its position like a rodeo rider. Once the prey is secured and pinned by the claws, the jaws go to work, delivering precise, tearing bites to dispatch it. It's a method less like a wolf and more like a hawk, a perfect fusion of agility, balance, and specialized weaponry. Theories about behavior are one thing, but a snapshot of that behavior frozen in time is another. In 1971, a joint Polish-Mongolian paleontological expedition to the Gobi Desert stumbled upon one of the most incredible fossils ever discovered. It is a scene of life and death struggle, a moment of visceral combat immortalized for 75 million years. It is known simply as the fighting dinosaurs. The fossil preserves two skeletons, a Velociraptor and a Protoceratops, locked in their final, fatal embrace. They were likely buried instantly by a collapsing sand dune or a sudden, violent sandstorm, preserving their battle poses with stunning clarity. As you look upon this silent tableau, you can read the story of the fight. The Velociraptor is crouched, its body tensed. Its lethal sickle claw is not slashing at the herbivore's flank, but is swung forward and embedded deep in the throat region of the Protoceratops. A precise, targeted strike aimed at a vulnerable area, just as the Raptor prey restraint model would predict. This was a killing blow. But the Protoceratops did not die easily. This sheep-sized herbivore was a formidable opponent, armed with a powerful, bone-crushing beak. In its final moments, it fought back. The fossil shows its jaws clamped down with immense force on the right arm of the Velociraptor, likely shattering the bone. They died together, predator and prey, locked in a mortal stalemate. This single fossil is a Rosetta Stone for understanding Velociraptor's life. It provides undeniable proof of its diet, confirming that it hunted Protoceratops. It validates modern theories about how it used its killing claw for precise stabbing, not wild slashing. And it serves as a stark reminder that life in the Cretaceous was a dangerous game. The swift Caesar was a lethal hunter, but even the hunter could become the victim in the blink of an eye. The journey of Velociraptor from a fossil in the Gobi sand to a global superstar is a tale of scientific discovery and cinematic license. After its initial discovery in the 1922 by an expedition from the American Museum of Natural History, Velociraptor mongoliensis remained a creature of relative obscurity, a fascinating but minor player known mostly to paleontologists and serious dinosaur enthusiasts. It was recognized for its bird-like features, but it took another, closely related discovery to light the fuse of its future fame. That discovery was Deinonychus, unearthed in North America in the 1962. Deinonychus was larger, more robust, and provided the key evidence that sparked the dinosaur renaissance, a scientific revolution that reimagined dinosaurs as active, intelligent, and warm-blooded animals, not the slow, stupid swamp dwellers of old. When Hollywood decided to adapt a novel featuring these terrifying new predators, they had a choice. They modeled their creatures on the larger, more imposing frame of Deinonychus, but they chose the name of its smaller cousin, Velociraptor. Why? Because, quite simply, it sounded better. Swift Caesar had a certain terrifying poetry that Terrible Claw just couldn't match. And so, the movie Monster was born, a hybrid of Deinonychus's body and Velociraptor's name. This act of cinematic casting, while scientifically inaccurate, had a profound effect. It catapulted the concept of raptors into the public consciousness and fueled an explosion of interest in dinosaurs. It made people see them not just as ancient bones, but as living, breathing, and terrifyingly clever animals. The irony is that the real Velociraptor, the feathered, turkey-sized, desert-dwelling creature, is perhaps even more wondrous. It tells a more nuanced and intricate story, a story about the surprising paths of evolution, the challenges of life in extreme environments, and the undeniable, deep connection between dinosaurs and the birds we see every day. Its legacy is not as a monster, but as a key piece of the puzzle of life's incredible history. The dry, windswept desert of the late Cretaceous fades, and the image of the feathered hunter dissolves back into the deep past. Our journey across 75 million years returns us to the present, but the world feels different, richer. The real Velociraptor, small, feathered, and far more complex than its movie caricature, leaves a more lasting impression than any monster could. It reminds us that scientific discovery is a process of constant refinement, of dusting off old bones to reveal new and surprising truths. This creature is not just a relic of a lost world. It is a testament to the intricate and beautiful reality of evolution. Every time you see a bird take flight, from a hawk circling in the sky to a sparrow on a fence, you are seeing a living legacy of the world these fierce, feathered dinosaurs inhabited. The Swift Caesar is gone, but its story is written across the sky.